down. Okay, you got to put a little hip in. Put a little hip. Are you going to put a little hip? All right. Oh my gosh, she got it right. It's Emily on. Wipe her down. And I say, oh my gosh, to Deborah. And they'll go, get it. And I say, oh my gosh, y'all, you know what? Every single one of you got the question right. Every single one of you. And I'll go, to the left. And they'll go, every question right. We did our best. In the classroom, that's our spot, yes, if he taught it. We're so smart. And the kids are cheering, and they're excited, and it's full of passion and light. And that's what education should be. The country in the world with the highest test scores is Finland. Finland's test scores are through the roof. And everyone always studies Finland. What do they do differently? What's in the water in Finland? What's going on there? And what they find is that their education system is very similar to ours. Okay? The one main difference, for every hour, they do 45 minutes of in-class instruction, then 15 minutes outside for PE. Every hour. They have PE every hour. 45 minutes inside, let it out for 15 minutes. And what they find is that our kids are healthy. We don't have an obesity problem. The endorphins are flowing. The blood's going to their brain. They said we expect our kids to sit and stare for 8 hours and expect them to learn. And they're bored. They're not excited. And so I can't do 15 minutes every hour for PE at my school. But I said in class, I'm going to get these kids moving. I'm going to get them excited. I'm going to get them up. I'm going to get the blood flowing. I'm going to bring algebra to life. And so we started doing that. At the end of the year, those kids outscored 86% of the nation. It was incredible. It's a 47-point jump, and 6 points is considered exemplary growth. That's a 47-point jump. It's incredible. Now at our school, over half of our school scores over the 90th percentile. Our school average is 89th percentile in math. That's crazy. And we just had our graduation, and our first graduating class of 8th graders to go to high school got over $800,000 in scholarships to go to high schools because of their math test scores. And why was it? It was just because of having high expectations and not dropping the expectations when it was hard, but finding ways to fire it up and bring it to life. And that's how I taught in North Carolina too. And I taught there for 5 years, kind of put all my passion, my heart into it that I could. Then at the end of the 5th year, I was sitting on my couch one night, and I was watching 2020. And this show was on about schools in Harlem. And they showed schools in Harlem, they had to close because of violence, overcrowded classrooms, a lack of teachers. And I got a feeling in my heart. And I said, I'm going to go teach at one of those schools in Harlem. I'm going to do it. And I went to the school the next day, and I told my class, I said, y'all, this is the last week of school. I think after this week, I'm going to go teach up in Harlem. And they said, they're going to kill you, Mr. Clark. I said, oh my God, I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to do it. And so I went all the way up to Harlem, and I drove my car, and I went up down the streets of Harlem trying to find one of these schools for the TV show. And I got to one of the schools, and this kid came busting out of the back door. And this kid was like, he was huffing and puffing. And I was like, good grief, what's going on? And the resource officer, she came and got him. She was trying to pull him into school. This big 13-year-old kid, he was just going, and his fists were clenched. And she pulled him to the office. I just kind of followed him in the door and walked down the hall. And she took him in and sat him in the office. She went to call his mama to get the principal. And the kid was just sitting there going, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just kind of sat down beside him. And I was sitting there, and he was going, and so finally I just leaned over to him. And I said, you know what? I was breathing like that one time, and I passed out. And that kid said, for real? And I said, and so I talked to this kid for like 5-10 minutes or so, and at the end of it, he goes, you know what, you're different. He said, you're different because I can tell you care about me. He said, if you were my teacher, he said, I wouldn't get in so much trouble. So I said, son, this is my school. So I went in and begged the principal. I got a job there, and I worked there for 2 years. And over those 2 years, I implemented the same program I did in North Carolina. High expectations, bring it to life. But I also brought Southern manners. I had a list of 55 rules for my students about how to be a good person, how to be a good individual, how to care for other people, lift people up, how to be a team player. I called them my Essential 55. At the end of my 2 years there, the kids' test scores again were through the roof. They tested in these great schools. I was named the American Teacher of the Year, and I got to go be on the Oprah Winfrey Show when I won that award. That's something kind of cool. And I was sitting there on the stage, had a bad haircut, this big old suit, and I was talking to Oprah, and I was telling my story, and she leaned over during the commercial, and she said, you know what? She said, you need to write a book. You need to write a book about all the stuff you do. And y'all know when Oprah tells you to write a book, y'all business people, write the book. And so I wrote a book called The Essential 55, which is about my 55 rules for all people. It's kind of like things my grandma taught me. How to be a good person, how to be successful, how to look after others' interests as well as your own, manners, respect. And when the book came out, no one really knew about it. It was ranked 140,000th on Amazon.com. So I said, I'm going to send Oprah a copy of this book. She told me to write it. And I just mailed it to her in a little envelope. And I got a call back, and they said she's made it one of your book picks. And I was like, what? And so I got to go back on the show, and I was sitting there talking about the book. And all of a sudden, during the interview, she stopped, showed the book up to the camera. She said, America, I want you to go out right now and buy this book. And then she held it close to her. And y'all know when Oprah holds something on top of her bosoms, that's all it takes. 1 hour after the show, that joker was number 2 on the bestseller list. It was right behind Harry Potter. It was awesome. And so the money from that book went into a foundation. And the foundation went to build a dream. I've always wanted to have my own school. Remember when I said I had to close my door because I couldn't show other people what I was doing? They didn't want me to show others because they got upset about it. I wanted to have a school where every teacher could leave their doors open, show magic and passion, but invite the world so everybody can come. Come in our school. We want you to come. Sit in our classroom, see what we do. Now at our school here in Atlanta, we have 3,000 principals, superintendents, board members, teachers come a year from all over the world to spend time in our school, 1, 2, 3 days. They go to all of our classrooms. They watch me teach. They watch all these amazing teachers. They learn what it means to be creative and innovative and to get results that way. The school is here in Atlanta, but I was going to do it in Harlem. The reason it's in Atlanta is because at the time, the American Middle School Teacher of the Year, Kim Bearden, she's from Cobb County. She was Cobb County's Teacher of the Year as well. I said, you got to come to Harlem and start a school. I'm going to do this school. And she said, what? My family's here. I'm not going to Harlem. But if you do the school in Atlanta, I'll do it with you. And so it was worth it. And if any of you know her, you know how incredible she is. So she teaches language arts at our school. What a blessing. And so I moved here to Atlanta. We looked all over Atlanta trying to find a facility. The book made money, but not that much money, so we're having to be very, very careful. And all of a sudden, I was in South Atlanta. You know where Harold's Barbecue is? Around the corner from Harold's Barbecue, it's a challenging area. The police said it's the second highest crime rated area of Atlanta. It was at the time. And I went up and I saw this huge old factory, 20,000 square foot factory, a crack house on this side, crack house on that side, streetwalkers. It was just a mess. And I looked at it and I saw this 100-year-old nasty factory. And I said, this is it. I said, this is the school. And we're a nonprofit, so we have board members. So when I got the board members, I said, they're going to love it, they're going to love it, come on. And they got out of the car, and they said, Ron, get in the car. Get in the car. I said, please, let's do it. We can build this school here. It's going to be amazing. It's going to change the whole community. And they said, no. They said, you're crazy, because if you put the school here, the community will destroy it. And I hate when people tell me no. I'm like, come on. When you see someone's got a dream, you got to support that. And I hate people being so negative. I said, please, y'all. And they said, Ron, this community will destroy anything you try and put here. I said, no, they won't. They're going to appreciate it. Let's do it. And so they said, all right. And I talked them into it. They voted. They approved the money. We bought the building. And over the next 4 months, we had 19 break-ins. Crackheads are crazy. And they're industrious. Every time we would try to do something to improve this building, the crackheads would break in and get the copper pipe out or whatever. Typically we had our hands full, and the board member said, Ron, we told you. We told you so. And other people said, we told you so. And I hate that too. And I said, there's always a solution. Stop making excuses. I said, I'm going to go around this community. I'm going to meet these crackheads. I'm going to find out who they are and why they're doing this. It took me 4 months. I went to every house. I did a 1-mile radius, talked to everyone on the street corner, streetwalkers, crackhead dealers, every home. And I'd walk into the houses, and I'd knock on the door. I'd say, hello. My name is Ron Clark, and I'm a school teacher. I'm trying to start a school up the street, and I was hoping you could help me out, and I'd give them the information about the school. And I just went from house to house, and sometimes I was scared, I ain't gonna lie. And one time I saw this house, and it had all these crackheads drinking 40 ounces up there, and that's alcohol. And I looked at I was like, I don't want to go up to this house. I was like, okay, do it. I was like, and I said, hello. And they said, are you Mormon? I said, no, I'm not Mormon, I'm a school teacher. And so they said, what do you want? And I started saying, I said, we're building the most amazing school in the world. This is a school where innovation is pushed, creativity is pushed. We're going to take kids who really struggle, kids who are gifted, kids who have discipline problems. We're going to take all these kids and we're going to show everyone that through innovation and creativity and high expectation, anything is possible. All these kids are going to have great, great achievement. And it's going to be the best school in the world. And it's going to look like no other school. It's going to be incredible. And they would say, You know what?